now what we've been talking about for the last hour, and that is a pretty special moment for us here. Big fight here in Las Vegas tomorrow night. George Foreman and Tommy Morrison. And right now, we have the weigh-in live for all of that and all of those festivities. Let's get up to my partner, Al Bernstein, in the center of the ring. Al?
Thank you, Barry. We are ready now for the weigh-in for the WBO Heavyweight Championship fight, which will be tomorrow here in Las Vegas. And we will kick it off by weighing in the challenger. Tommy Morrison, who is the challenger in this bout, will now weigh in. Tommy Morrison.
Too late now. They already got it. I'll just subtract the family. They're already on TV. Off the press. Okay, with the shoes, 226.
226 for Tommy Morrison, as he gets ready to challenge for the WBO Heavyweight Championship. And now the former champion of the world, George Foreman. George Foreman weighs in at 256 pounds. And so they are ready for the WBO Heavyweight Championship match. And they are taking shots of George Foreman here on the scale. As we will get ready, we're going to have a chance to chat with both of the fighters. We're going to have a chance to talk to Tommy Morrison and also to George Foreman. And they are clowning a bit for the folks here. And you can see that as this promotion has developed.
Let's go back to you, Al. You're going to talk with George.
Well, I have George Foreman here with me. And George, 256, you look like a very fit 256.
No, I was hoping for 265. I don't know how. I ate a good breakfast and the whole deal. I don't know what happened.
How did I know you were going to say that? Now, his punching, of course, is the thing that makes him different than some of the opponents you fought, in that he's got lots of power. How are you going to avoid that double left hook of his?
Oh, I don't know. I've been in the ring with a lot of double hookers before.
One or two.
Probably, yeah. The frightening moment I had was when I had to face Joe Frazier, who had a left hook, was really a murderous hook, and I was scared then. I'm only frightened this time.
Well, George Foreman is still kind of laughing and scratching, and that's really been the story here, Tommy. It's been a promotion. There's been a lot of tickets to sell, but when does all the fun and games stop?
Well, the fun and games stopped for me about a little over 8.5 weeks ago. You know, once we went into camp, obviously we had to go to New Orleans and do the cable thing, and it was a pleasure. I think we both had fun with it. We both gave each other our space. But you know, George is a great guy. He's a class act. I like to consider myself on that same level. We had a good time doing it, but now it's time to take care of business.
Do you feel that you have amends to make for the Ray Mercer fight? Obviously, there was a lot to be learned in that fight for you.
Well, that was the one fight that I feel as a team that we learned the most. It gave us as a team an indication of what direction we needed to travel. I need to become a more complete fighter. And when I say complete, I mean being able to rely on other things other than being able to hit hard, being able to back up, being able to box a little bit, being able to move, be able to be a little more defensive. And I think I matured a lot as an athlete. Prior to that, I probably didn't have the greatest training habits in the world, but I've matured as an athlete, feel very comfortable with where I'm at, and I actually, this time, I feel like I belong here.
All right, you were saying about 8.5 weeks ago it started to get serious, and I'm sure when you lay awake at night, you sort of think, here's how this fight is going to go. So how do you see this fight going?
Well, it's on paper, you know, it looks like it's probably going to be a very exciting fight. You know, I don't think there's any secret to beating someone like George. Obviously, the opposition that he's been facing, with the exception of Holyfield, probably hasn't been as tough as it will be tomorrow night. And it's something that I think a lot of people are looking forward to. It's a very competitive fight, which is something that people haven't seen in the heavyweight division in quite some time. So I think that it's going to be a very exciting night.
Are you going to have to take the fight to him?
Well, George is a type of individual that's going to come right straight at me, and I'm, as everyone knows, I don't take too many backward steps either. George is definitely not the sort of individual that you want to stand in front of a whole lot, but at the same time, I can't afford to get away from what's brought me this far, and that's being a very explosive athlete.
All right, but once again, let me just harken back to the Mercer fight, and I know you want to forget about it, but you were right on him quickly, and you did a great job early, and then all of a sudden things changed. Now, what can you do to change that?
Well, one thing that I didn't know how to do, and I think George Foreman knows a little bit about this, is be able to relax. And one thing that after the Mercer fight, as a matter of fact, I spoke to George Foreman through my manager, and because he used to suffer from the same problem that I had early in his first career, and he gave us some exercises to go through. You know, running longer distances, going on hour runs, 10-mile runs, going instead of 3-minute rounds, go 6-minute rounds, 8-minute rounds, to where you get to know your limits as a fighter. Everyone has limits, and everyone's limits are different. And once you get to know them, then you know when to turn it on, when to turn it off, when you're going over your limits, and when you're not. And that's something that you have to learn by actually going through it, and I never was able to. I've been playing catch up to the Ray Mercers and the Lennox Lewises and the Riddick Bows because I never really had the initial experience as an amateur that they did. So I've been playing catch up, and now I feel like I'm closing the gap just a little bit.
Yeah, no more catch up. You're at the finish line now. You got your moment in the sun. I wish you well, Tom.
Thank you very much.